The 16th BRICS Summit, held under Russia's chairmanship, marked a pivotal moment in strengthening the organization's global role. Russia organized over 200 events across 13 cities throughout the year, covering a wide range of topics, from sectoral cooperation to cultural and sports exchanges. At the summit, Russia's contribution to integrating new members was highlighted, with these members actively participating and contributing innovative ideas to the BRICS processes. The summit's program was extensive, encompassing political, economic, and cultural humanitarian discussions. Delegates from 35 countries and 6 international organizations attended. One central format was the OUTREACH BRICS PLUS, where BRICS countries discussed critical issues with partners from the global South and East, focusing on supporting a multipolar and democratic world order. The Kazan Declaration was adopted, affirming BRICS countries' commitment to democratic principles and independent international cooperation. A significant portion of discussions was dedicated to financial and economic integration. Russia proposed extending Brazil's chairmanship of the new development bank and addressed the creation of independent payment mechanisms to reduce BRICS countries' dependence on Western financial systems. In line with this initiative, Russia advocates for using national currencies among BRICS members, which could considerably strengthen the organization's economic position. Participants also underscored the importance of sectoral cooperation, particularly in science, culture, and sports. After the summit's official agenda, the Russian president responded to questions on intra-BRICS cooperation and global issues. He was asked about the potential for creating an alternative international payment system for BRICS countries and the feasibility of using national currencies in international transactions. He confirmed that BRICS aims to establish such a system but emphasized that technical details still need to be worked out. The potential expansion of BRICS was also discussed, with the president noting that enlargement depends on a consensus among all members and deliberations are currently underway. On international matters, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine was addressed, which continues to impact global relations. The president reaffirmed Russia's support for peace initiatives and expressed gratitude to China and Brazil for their actions at the UN General Assembly. When asked about the origins and repercussions of the conflict, he stressed that the escalation began with the 2014 events, which the U.S. supported, and accused Western countries of arming Ukraine. He also noted that Russia remains open to constructive dialogue if Ukraine shows a willingness to negotiate. Questions about Russia's relations with North Korea and the United States were raised. The Russian president stated that a strategic partnership agreement had been signed with North Korea, although specific details were still under discussion. He also responded to questions about alleged Russian interference in U.S. elections, noting that Russia seeks to normalize relations with the U.S., but this largely depends on Washington's policy. The president also commented on statements by Donald Trump about threats towards Russia, dismissing them as inconsequential. The topic of expanding cooperation with African countries was discussed separately. Russia sees Africa as an essential partner due to its rapidly growing population and high urbanization rate. The president remarked that Russia intends to establish long-term economic ties with Africa and create an investment platform to support projects in the region. Discussing security issues, the president emphasized that for Russia, it is crucial to ensure sovereignty and independence in the economic and financial spheres, which are fundamental to confident national development. He underscored that Russia is committed to supporting global and regional stability and honoring international commitments, despite strained relations with several Western countries. Specifically, he noted that NATO's eastward expansion violates previous agreements and poses a security threat to Russia. During the press conference, the president also criticized internal and economic policies in Europe. He expressed the opinion that Europe's economic challenges are exacerbated by its decision to forego Russian energy resources, leading to increased costs and economic difficulties. He mentioned that German companies have started relocating to the U.S., where they are offered more favorable conditions. The president touched on the environmental agenda, emphasizing that some Western countries impose their technologies on developing nations, fostering neocolonialism. Supporting Iran and addressing conflicts in the Middle East were also part of the discussion. The president stated that Russia is not interested in escalating conflicts in the region and prefers diplomatic solutions. He noted that contacts with Iran continue, with Russia striving for compromises to stabilize the situation. He stressed that no country in the region wants conflict expansion, as it would lead to significant losses for all parties. Answering questions on negotiations with Ukraine, the president expressed gratitude to Turkey for organizing a platform for dialogue and reminded that Ukraine had signed a draft peace agreement but later rejected it. According to Russia, Ukraine refuses negotiations due to internal factors, including the need to lift martial law and hold elections, which complicates the situation and prolongs the conflict. Organizational matters within BRICS were also discussed, including mechanisms for interaction and centralized management. The president noted that establishing a unified management structure within BRICS could simplify coordination and decision-making among countries. He also addressed the possible accession of Saudi Arabia and the creation of an investment platform to support new members. Questions were raised about Venezuela, particularly regarding its potential BRICS membership despite Brazil's objections. The president noted that Venezuela's admission could be considered if all member countries reach a consensus. He also expressed gratitude to Brazil and China for supporting peace initiatives concerning Ukraine and noted that Venezuela's stance is primarily focused on fighting for independence and sovereignty. Toward the end of the session, the president addressed a question about Venezuela's opposition and reiterated that while the United States does not interfere in Venezuela's affairs directly, it supports the opposition. The president reminded that Maduro was recognized as the legitimate president following the elections, despite opposition claims. He also stated that Venezuela's inclusion in BRICS would only be possible if all member states agree, as this is the only way to avoid internal divisions. The president concluded the press conference by apologizing for needing to attend a bilateral meeting and thanked the participants and journalists for their interest in BRICS, expressing hope for the organization's continued success.